Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ethan Wood, and today we are talking about something that you might not have heard of, but is going to affect the way that you stream movies in the future. And yes, I am talking about Jen Selke and her leaving Amazon. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so if you don't already know, Amazon Prime is one of the top 3 streaming platforms in the world with 275 million subscribers to it, which is an insane amount of subscribers. It is all led by Mike Hopkins. He is the head of the video department, and under him is Jen Selke, or was, I guess. So today we're going to talk about Selke and her whole transition out of the company and what's been going on with that. And then I want to talk about how it's going to affect you as a streamer of movies, because Amazon Prime is probably going to change here pretty soon. So Selke took the job in 2018 as the head of MGM Studios, which is the division of Amazon that makes the original content, like all your favorites, Rings of Power, Reacher, Citadel, Fallout, and a lot more. When she came in, she promised that Amazon Prime was going to grow that department, which it has, and she was talking a lot about diversity and inclusion and trying to bring more of that to the company. So pretty normal stuff for big companies like Amazon and Disney and Apple TV and all those things. And yes, she did do what she set out to do. However, recently, in the past week, she announced that she is going to be stepping down from that position and is going to be taking a different role as a producer. So in her memo, I wanted to read just a little clip of it. She said, "As I've been considering my next chapter, I've always been searching for that moment where I was positive that our work had set up Amazon MGM Studios for even more success in the long term," Selke said in a statement provided by Amazon. "When I look at the teams we put in place, our amazing leaders, and the incredible slate of films and shows we've got in the pipeline, I realize now is that moment." So she's kind of phrasing this as, it was my decision, everyone's happy about this, I'm happy about this, but no, I think there is more happening, so let's talk about that. So later in the same article that I was reading, she not only announced that she was leaving, but also the CEO, Mike Hopkins, announced that they're not going to be replacing her. In fact, he said this: "We've decided to flatten our leadership structure a bit and not fill the head of studios role," Hopkins wrote. "In line with Amazon's recent work to streamline reporting lines and accelerate decision-making, we felt this was the best direction for our studio, which will now operate as distinct film and television studios." So the film department's going to go to Valenti, who is already working for Amazon, but that's going to him, and then the television is going to Sanders. And those two things are going to be separate now, and they're going to report directly to Hopkins. So Jen Selke's position is going away entirely. Now that's where the controversy is coming up, and I have a couple reasons as to why that's a problem and why it's probably happening. So number one, Selke was the middleman between Hopkins and the two divisions of film and television, so I have a feeling they're trying to streamline that whole process, which makes a lot of sense. Just organizationally, you want that to be a little more streamlined. But also, it was reported in an article that Selke did not get along with Hopkins, and there was actually a lot of strife between the two. So this one says, in 2020, Selke started reporting to Hopkins, who was named Amazon Video Entertainment Chief. "Mike and Jen have been in a power struggle for years, and they've never gotten along. It was never a happy relationship," adds a source who worked with Hopkins and Selke. So Selke failed quite a bit as well in addition to this, and with all the disagreements between Hopkins and her, and the fact that she lost Amazon Prime millions of dollars, and I'm not joking, millions of dollars to different movies. For example, she lost $550 million to the Rings of Power series that came out on Prime. And no one really watched the Citadel one, which also costs a lot of money, but the numbers for that aren't quite released yet. So I'm not gonna give those because I'm not sure accurately what those are. But she lost a ton of money on those. And yes, there were some successes like Reacher, and the other one was Fallout. Those two were pretty successful on Prime. But the things that she lost kind of outweigh what she gained. So overall, she lost a lot of money for Amazon. I'm not even going to mention the Bond fiasco. That's been a huge problem right now. Apparently Amazon has the rights to the Bond franchise, but I'm not going to talk about that here. We'll probably talk about that in a different video. But regardless, Selke had failed multiple times, was in strife with Hopkins, and they wanted to streamline the organization. So I'm thinking that they probably pushed her out, if I had to make an opinion on that. I think that's probably what happened. And how is this going to affect you as a streamer? Because I'm pretty sure most people have a Prime subscription at this point. I know I do. Most people stream off of Amazon, and this decision This whole fiasco is going to change the way that we stream. So one of the biggest critiques that she keeps getting is Salke is woke, she wants to bring diversity, she wants to bring inclusion, which to an extent is fine, but we have noticed a trend that when you bring wokeness into a company, you tend to lose a ton of money. If you've heard of the phrase, go woke, go broke, that is what I am talking about. Listen to this interview clip of her goals for the company and what she set out to do originally.
There's a long list of voices that need to be represented, and I feel like, we've only touched the beginning tip of the iceberg on those voices. We've been kind of in our own backyard with our really talented creators, here in the US and mostly LA and in New York. And as you expand outside into different countries and travel to India and Brazil and India, my favorite trip I took this last year. I just love the ability to go meet storytellers that come from their own cultures, their own backgrounds, and giving them the reins to be able to tell a story that exists outside of that individual culture.
Okay, so you're probably hearing this and you're like, well, that sounds fine, right? Well, I think we need to make a distinction here. She is trying to prioritize storytelling, but not storytelling in the normal sense, storytelling in the sense that she wants to showcase diverse voices and share their stories, which again is not bad. However, she's not focusing on telling good stories, she just wants to tell diverse stories. And I think that this is also reflected in the content that she is producing. You can tell that they're trying to focus so much on getting every gender, every race in there, but you got to focus on what's important when making a movie, and I think what she was trying to focus on actually destroyed every movie that she tried to produce. It didn't make it good, it just made it confusing. She was trying to change narratives, she was trying to change structures to how characters worked. Like, for example, The Rings of Power, the two main characters' personalities were completely opposite, but they fit the narrative of today in that women are the strong leaders and men cannot lead at all. That was not the way in the original Lord of the Rings. And I think that that kind of was almost disrespectful towards Tolkien. So anyways, I say all that because for a long time, Amazon has been pushing this woke agenda in all their films. And I think that that is causing people to lose trust in the brand. We just want good storytelling. We want lovable characters. We want things that move us, but nothing is really moving us per se. It's all just kind of there. I feel like this is maybe not even what I feel like, but what I am thinking is that this is basically, what they're pushing out is propaganda. And I say that because it's trying to drive a certain message. It's trying to make you feel a certain way. And while she might be claiming that she's focusing on good storytelling, what she actually is trying to do is push the agenda that she wants, which by definition is propaganda. And we see that from other films as well. And I'm just gonna say it outright, newsflash, nobody cares about your political takes, Salke, no one cares. And that reflects in how people are watching movies on streaming platforms and YouTube and everything else. No one cares. If you're not a politician, we're not gonna listen to your politics. And you can have an opinion at the end of the day about what you think about politics, and that's fine. But when it comes to movies, I think we can all agree that we just want good quality content, and that is not what she was producing. So all that to say, I think that's a big reason, or something big that is going to change in Amazon moving forward. Number two, they're dividing it into the separate film and television divisions, which I think is going to be a negative side effect because I have a feeling, knowing Amazon Prime, they're going to create a film side and a television side of their digital platforms. They're going to be two separate entities that you'll have to pay for separately. I have a feeling it'll be like all of our films that we've released theatrically over here and then all the TV series over here, and you can get this nice bundle for this much money, which is probably going to be more than it already is. So I don't know. I'm curious what you guys think about that, but I have a feeling it's going to add a little bit more to what you're paying, which is kind of a bummer. But in the end, the transition of her leaving Amazon was probably a good thing. It probably made a lot of sense, but it definitely was a little icky, and it's gonna leave a mark on Amazon for sure. And who knows, it could get totally worse. They could hire someone else, or they could continue down the woke path. But hopefully, we will see this as a correction, as Amazon realizing that the way that Salke was taking the company is not the way that they would like the company to be taken. So hopefully we see quality returning back to the series that they were producing. I hope the James Bond series that's hopefully going to be released soon is going to be better, and we will see. Only time will tell. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. If you could hit that like and subscribe button down below, that would be wonderful. If you would also comment down below, I'd love that too. I'd love to hear your thoughts about everything. If you want to check out any of my other videos, I have a few more about some underrated movies that I think you guys should be watching because I think that they're wonderful and hopefully you do too. So if you could check out my other content, that'd be great too. And otherwise, I will see you in the next one. Let's try to bring redemption into Hollywood and hopefully they'll start producing movies that we can actually enjoy. Stay thoughtful and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.